For the first time ever and live from ICS, Industrial Security Conference Copenhagen, Cybercamping is actually sending talking English, American, whatever. And I'm so lucky that I have a special guest here, James, and I think you should say your last name?
McQuiggan.
McQuiggan. So yeah, we can get back to, to that. That's amazing.
There's a lot of Danish names that I have trouble saying.
Yeah, okay,
so
that's fair. Okay,
it's all good.
Thank you for the understanding here. So normally I always say that everything that is said here at the interview is not necessarily related to our work, our company policies or something. So we are just having a nice talk.
We are having a nice
James, thank you very much for participating. And would you like to tell a little bit about your story? How did you get into all this security, OT security? Where did it all start?
It's appropriate that we're sitting around a campfire telling the story here. For me, I go all the way back to my teenage years, or even earlier. I got into computers at a very young age. My first computer was the Commodore VIC-20.
VIC-20,
with 2 kilobytes of memory.
That's
2
amazing.
kilobytes. And doing programming on that and getting the magazine every month. And then, of course, it was playing games on the Commodore. And then, high school, later on, getting a 8086 computer that had, I think, 20 megabytes of RAM or something like that. It was, it was impressive back then. And so computers were always something that I enjoyed playing with and working on. But when I left high school, I was at a crossroads. I was very much involved in theater.
Okay, cool.
I was very much, but I was very technical. I wasn't the performing type. I was the technical person. I was doing the lighting and the sound.
Lighting and sound
and all this stuff. I always loved the technical stuff. And I decided to pursue theater. And I did that. I went to college, university, and I worked professionally. I worked for an opera company for a number of years, several opera companies.
Amazing.
And did musical theater and just, I loved it. That was a passion. But later on, after about 6 to 7 years, I'm in my mid-20s, and the lifestyle of theater, while adventurous and a lot of fun, it was a lot of nights. It was a lot of weekends. And for me, I realized that this wasn't going to be conducive if I wanted to have a family, get married, and unless they were, very much into the theater as well. So I decided to step back into computers. And that time, this is the late 90s, I went and got my A+ certification. I needed to demonstrate some way that I knew what I was talking about when it came to computers. And I had my A+ certification, and I started working at a call center, working for a computer manufacturer, or we were an outsource for a computer manufacturer who rhymes with Bell.
Bell, something.
Which reminds me, what if you ever get a computer and it starts singing, you know what you call that?
No.
Adele.
Adele.
Okay,
that's something else also. She actually sings good.
She does sing good, yes. Adele sings good, yes. But I worked for a call center, and I certainly believed that at that time that everybody working in IT or working in security should work at a call center at some point. Because it teaches customer service skills. It teaches you to have a thick skin, because people call up call centers not to say how wonderful the computers are. They call up to complain, or my cup holder's not working. If you know, you know.
Amazing,
So I worked 3 years in a call center, and level 1, made a mentor, became a manager. And then my wife and I was then married, and we had a daughter, and we wanted to have her close to grandparents. And so we were living in Texas. We moved back to Florida, where my family was. And I got a job then working at Siemens. And that pretty well changed my career. Got to work in a group, had a fantastic team and leadership where I got to do everything from database administration, building computer systems, building networks, because we did monitoring of the gas turbines. And essentially we had mini branch networks all around the country, all around the world, that were all connected via VPNs. So I learned about VPNs, learned networking, taught myself how to configure Cisco routers, switches, the PIX firewall. And learned the network security of that. And that really got me into cybersecurity.
Yes.
Where our systems were audited by our product security officer and our head of corporate security for Siemens USA.
Cool.
And we went and visited a site, and they wanted to look at the network and run tests, and it was there that they turned to me and said, you really like the security, you should get your CISSP.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I was my CI what?
Yeah.
So
that was late 90s, or
this is now late 2000s.
Late 2000s.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So 10 years after I got back into computers, I'm discovering cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't it was an important topic, but it really wasn't at the forefront. There was security and you had firewalls. That's what everybody thought security was. And I studied for my CISSP for a number of months. I took a boot camp, and I earned my CISSP.
That's cool. Yeah, just a question for this. What did it give to you? Because my experience is that sometimes it opens your eyes for how broad cybersecurity is, but I don't know what did it do with you?
For me, the CISSP I learned was an inch deep and a mile wide of information, everything from application security, risk management was a new thing for me then. I knew network security and was familiar with that. There was the legal aspect. You had application security. We didn't really have cloud much back then, because this is late 2000s. But for me, risk management really opened. That was a big eye opener because I was doing a lot of compliance with the NERC-CIP standards in the U.S. at that time.
So they were already.
So I was familiar from the GRC perspective, and I earned my CISSP. Well, about 2 years later, Siemens created in the U.S. We created a NERC-CIP manager position in our corporate security office. And I told the head of corporate security, her name was Sarah, and I said, I'm thinking I'm going to apply for that. And she goes, I've been waiting for you to tell me that you were going to apply. Cool. So it's about time. So yes, so I did that I then transitioned out of a group that I was in for 8 years to be in corporate security, and got to work with a whole new team. And I was doing the NERC-CIP compliance. And one of the other things that that department did was security awareness. We had a information security advisor or champions program that was a part of Siemens Energy in the U.S. And that really fascinated me. And I said, I'd like to run with that, work on that. The person that did it was very busy with all the other tasks, and she didn't have the time for it. I said, I would love to do that. And I essentially re-energized that champions program, and would do monthly meetings and educate the different members of staff throughout all of Siemens. And I discovered then a new passion, a passion for teaching and educating people about cybersecurity.
Okay, so your skills from the call center actually come in place now about
very much
communicating.
So.
Okay, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, because I also, when I worked at the call center, I also did train the trainer. I would train. I would train the people that would be working the desk. So and ironically, my wife is a school teacher as well. So maybe through osmosis, it passed along to me. So running the ISA program, doing the NERC-CIP compliance, and just working in corporate security. And then an opportunity came along in our wind division where they wanted somebody to come and handle NERC-CIP. So I left that, and it was heartbreaking, but it was a good opportunity, another advanced position. And I did that for about 3 years when some very good friends of mine were working at a company called Noble4, and they were security awareness advocates or evangelists. And they said, hey, we have another opening in the U.S. Is this something you'd be interested in? And I'm like, yes. I would. And so after 18 years, I said goodbye to Siemens, and now I've been at Noble4 for 5 years. But in parallel, back in the late 2008 teens, 2017, 18, I took a side job working as a college professor at a local college in Orlando. And I've now recently moved over, and I'm teaching at a private university, cyber threat intelligence.
Okay, that's amazing.
Thank you.
As a degree in Yeah, but I think a lot of, at least countries here, we have very few, teaching possibilities. Very few. You can take all the certification and stuff, but education is coming a little bit, but it's lacking a lot. But
one of the great things that the university and even the college excel at is bringing in the industry professionals, bringing in the experts that can come and teach. And I only teach one class. Yeah. I teach it once a week, and that's it.
Amazing.
It's not like I have a full course load on top of the day work. It's one class. I do the lecture every week, grade the assignments, but it's rewarding for me. Helping help the next generation of cybersecurity professionals that are coming out. So it's a lot of fun and very rewarding. So it's been a long 26 plus year journey, learning new things every day, especially even coming to this conference, to the ISC in Copenhagen.
Yeah, and that's maybe the next question. What the hell a skilled guy like you doing in a conference like this?
I took a wrong turn. No.
Okay.
No. I was approached and privileged to be asked by Peter Froker.
Yes.
The guy he was very much involved, and said, we've got this conference that's happening, and this was during COVID, and said, hey, we have this event that goes on, and it would be great to have the human risk perspective presented, because a lot of the OT security is important and it's critical and it's needed. But one of the things that organizations realize is the majority of the successful breaches occur because of some type of social engineering attack. And that's on your users. And when your users have the key to the front door for the organization through their email, if they don't have that awareness, understanding, training, then they're going to fall victim very, very quickly to a phishing email. 1 in 3 people will fall victim to a phishing email in an organization that doesn't have any training. Yeah. So it's important that your users are educated, because like your own children, if you give them a key to the door, they have to know the rules, they have to know what to be aware of. If they lose the key, they have to be able to report it to somebody. Same thing with email. If somebody clicks on a link, they need a way to be able to report it, or they see a phishing email, they need a way to be able to report it.
Yeah, amazing. Now you have worked with the NERC zip, probably, I know it as well, very heavy standard. In general, what do you think about standards and rules and laws, and what is your take on these?
We need standards and we need laws.
Yeah.
They're important in society. We have to live by laws within society to, be good citizens.
Yes.
And standards and guidelines, policies, they're there so that we're good digital citizens. Our organizations, have to comply with those so that, we're having secure environments. And the standards are there so that it's a bare minimum. It's not a silver bullet. I know some people don't believe in the standards. I feel that they're there as the baseline. Yeah. It's there to do something, because you have a board of directors if you're in organizations that are publicly traded, but you may have a board of directors and executive management that they are going to look at the standards and go, okay, well, that's what we need to do. It's, while we don't look at it as black and white, it's there so they know, they go, okay, if we do this, we're going to be secure. Yeah. And as security professionals, we'll go, no, this gives us the bare minimum. Yeah. We need to build up from that, but to be compliant and not be fined, then yes, we need to go through and do this. But this is just the bare minimum of what needs to be done to properly secure an organization. So I think they're important because there's no one standard, and I know with IEC 62443 is great in the OT space, ICS space. That's a good standard to have, again, to be that baseline, that foundation that you build upon for your security program in your organization.
Amazing. And what I can hear from your talking now, your heart is definitely soul about people and awareness and so on. What do you think? Do we do enough? I don't know. Do you do enough for the preschool? Do we teach the teacher? Should we do something there? Shouldn't we get them earlier than the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very much so. So I've been involved with an organization in the U.S., the Center for Cyber Safety and Education, and they have a program designed for kids.
Okay.
One of the things that I compliment so many Europeans, and especially the Danes, is you start learning English at a very early age in school. and it becomes ingrained. And so you have the ability to speak multiple languages, which, you know, I bow down to, because I have 2 languages, English and sarcasm.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's a good language.
That's good. But in the U.S., children will be 6th grade or 7th grade unless they're already learning a second language at home. And so it makes it more challenging for the students over there. Having our phones, email, internet, streaming online, buying things online. We do a lot online, and the problem is we don't educate our kids on the dangers of what it likes to be online. We hand them iPads and iPhones at young ages to keep them occupied and to play with. Well, we've heard the stories of how kids rack up, hundreds of dollars in buying Minecraft mods or whatever else, just as an example. Yeah. But, we need to educate them on the dangers that are out there, because there is, especially in countries like Africa, the sexploitation that goes on. And now with deepfakes, it's so much easier to be able to, there's these nudify apps that it's just really sad. But children need to be aware of the dangers. And I would go around with a program from the Center for Cyber Safety and Education. I went around and I taught 7,000 students, teachers, over a period of years within the 2000s. And it needs to be taught in the schools. It has to be part of the curriculum, because every kid is now having a phone by the time they're 10, if not sooner. And I respect the parents wanting their children to have a phone, because they need to be able to reach them. I remember as a kid, it was out you go right after breakfast, come back for dinner. But nowadays, parents want to have that connection because the technology's there. Yeah. But we also have to make sure that we're educating them on that, as well as the parents.
Yes, exactly. So it's nice to hear that there's some initiative, I cannot say that word, but it's that there's a center that's trying to do something, and because I totally agree with you. I think being critical about what you see, you cannot trust anything anymore.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, so you have to have a little healthy level of skepticism. Yeah. Be politely paranoid. Yeah.
Normally, cybercamping is actually made for giving young people an idea of what you can work with if you want to work with something related to cyber. And that's why I go out and interview a lot of persons. Great. Yeah. Great. So if you should give a good advice to someone want to work in cyber, do something, go that road, what would that be?
Take a different road. No. The great thing about cybersecurity, like the CISSP, it's an inch deep and a mile wide. Yeah. There are hundreds of different roles that you can be doing. When people think of cybersecurity, the first thing they go to is the guy in the hoodie doing the hacking. I want to be a pen tester. And
how many actual jobs are there?
Not a lot. Yeah, not as many as you think when it comes to pen testing. But a lot of my own students tell me that they want to be pen testers, and that's just great. I mean, being pen testing, learning about that is important, because you can take that knowledge and apply it now to other areas in cybersecurity. Understanding how you bypass and gain, root shell, that goes a long way in being able to make sure that your applications are secure, being able to secure your enterprise architecture. And so, if you're going to go into cybersecurity, that's great. One of the things, you can go through and take all the certs, you can go through and read all the books, you can go to school, and that's great. One of the struggles that a lot of people have right now is trying to get that first job. Yeah. And there are reports out there, and there's organizations saying, oh, there's millions of jobs out there. Yeah. No, there's millions of jobs that we perceive is in demand, but it's not actually out there.
That's the same.
And there's a big disconnect with that. Amazing. So if people are coming out to work in cybersecurity, that's great. We need the people. But at the same time, you want to network. Yeah. Networking is very much important, because getting out there and putting out your information is good, but being able to connect and network with people through ISACA groups, ISC2 groups, ISSA, local meetups, cybersecurity groups, through your universities or colleges goes a long way. But networking is just as important as the education and studying, and try to find yourself to be unique.
Oh, amazing. In Denmark, a lot of companies don't dare to take the total new ones in.
Right.
Yeah. Is that the same?
We see a lot of the, looking for the unicorn role.
Yeah.
We want somebody that's got 10 years of experience, a CISSP, a CISA, and we're going to pay you, $50,000 or 350,000 Danish krone, which is not a lot for 10 years experience. 10 years of experience as a senior, not an entry level.
Yeah.
And so there's a disconnect, but it's improving.
Okay, that's nice to hear.
But you want to have, when you've got new people coming out, the problem, or and I'm not in a hiring position, I can only see.
What you see from outside.
But organizations should bring on entry level people so they can work with them. Now the fear is, well, what if they go somewhere else? Yeah. A lot of people nowadays, if they can get in with a company, they're going to stay there unless, the culture is wrong for them or whatever. But you've got a lot of students, a lot of people coming out of universities with the certifications, hungry, wanting to learn, if you can bring them into that environment. But a lot of it also comes down to initiative. What's that look like? Problem solving, critical thinking. That goes a long way as well, without, with also, doing the pen testing as well. But if you can have that and demonstrate that, that goes a long way to helping, and that's what can be learned, and you can educate those entry-level cybersecurity students or kids or practitioners, because we don't have enough of those entry-level positions, and we need to have more of those so that they can work their way up and grow as well.
Yeah, okay, amazing. Time is flying, it's so interesting. But in Cybercamping, we have the very hard Cybercamping quiz.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Hardware or awareness?
Oh, so hardware or awareness? Oh, ouch. I got to go awareness just because that's the side that I'm on. But you need both.
Yeah, you need both.
You need both.
Yeah, but not the one.
It's not an or. It's an and.
Okay. Now we're talking OT.
Okay.
Cloud or on-prem?
On-prem.
No doubt.
No hesitation. On-prem. It's old school me, back working in SCADA systems in the 2000s. Yeah. Cloud SCADA makes me nervous like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Okay, that's amazing. The last question.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Ransomware, would you pay or don't pay?
Don't pay.
Okay.
Don't pay it.
No.
Make sure you got your backups. Test your backups.
Yeah.
The money that you would spend on ransomware, take 10% of that and put it towards making sure you're doing proper testing of your backups. You've got backups. You test them monthly. You go through. You make sure you've got multi-factor authentication. You're educating your users. You've got password managers inside your organization. Take the necessary steps to educate and have the technology capability to protect against ransomware. But if you get hit with ransomware, then have the ability to be able to recover from it and do not pay.
Amazing. That was, you survived the very hard cyber quiz.
All
very
right.
nice. Okay. and James, for when you're visiting the Cybercamping, all my guests are having this badge that cannot be copied at all. But if you wear it at these conferences in the future,
definitely will.
I will give a beer. So,
nice. I'm just going to wear it all the time.
But don't spoil your
jacket. Oh, no, it's all good.
It has been a pleasure to having you here.
Pleasure was mine.
And so amazing. And I hope you have a nice evening and a nice
Will
day
do.
tomorrow. Are you going to talk tomorrow?
I talk tomorrow. I do one on deepfakes.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a fun topic.
I will look
wait till you see who I deepfake.
Oh no! I'm scared already.
It's not you. Don't worry. You're fine. You're fine.
I think it's Peter. So amazing to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for watching. And I will also send 2 sessions tomorrow. I don't know if they will be in English or Danish, but I hope I survived the first English version ever. So now it can be shared worldwide. Yeah. Yep. Thank you very much. Have a nice day out there.